Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Crafts a Latte and a Card. I am trying to just make sure that we are in the group correctly here. People have been saying that they've been having a hard time trying to find me, and so just want to make sure that everybody is here. How's everybody doing on this beautiful Saturday? If you're from Colorado, you'll agree that it's very, very nice out today. And if you're just joining me, you'll have to like, comment, or share. Let me know where you're from. I love engaging with everybody, so that would sure be special if you could do that. And so I have a cute project that I'm doing today. I hope you'll like it as much as I do. I actually had a request from my daughter, who was going to a baby shower today, and so she asked me to do her friend a birthday card inspired by the colors of the gifts that she purchased, as well as the gift bag. And so unfortunately I'm not able to show it to you because she had to take it with her. So I actually took a picture of it and printed it. But what's really cute about this set is that you can do it for a baby shower, a happy birthday, a thinking of you. There's just, I mean, the possibilities are endless. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. This is a really cute set called Kangaroo and Company. And what I really like about it is you're going to see that when you use the die cuts, and I'm going to be honest, I did not originally get the die cuts that come with this. Once again, when you purchase both at the same time, you get to save 10%. I thought that I would either use my scan and cut machine or fussy cut it, you know, to try to save a buck. But the cutest thing about this Kangaroo is, see this little pouch? It actually cuts a slit in it when you use the dies, which you're going to see. And then this is a pull-out little cute guy. So you have options of either taking it in and out with flowers, hearts, presents, and then just some really, really cute sayings on that. So make sure you check that out. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing watercoloring. And so what that means is that's how I was able to get just some fun striking with color. And so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to put this up here so you can still see it, but let's go ahead and pull out what we're going to be using. I've already pre-cut a lot of stuff to make it go faster today, because Saturdays are just a fun interaction, coffee and a card. Sometimes I do projects, but it's just kind of a let's get together, see what we have. And I try, you know, during the week for the kits to go is longer. So with that being said, what I'm using today is, this is called watercolor paper. And so it's got a thicker, unique texture to it. But when you're applying water, you want this watercolor paper so that it absorbs the water and it doesn't make it too thin and such. Okay, so how we're going to do this is I went ahead and already cut. Again, the dimensions will all be on my blog at craftslatte.com. So don't worry about the measurements right now, but I'm using Calypso Coral for our base. Gonna put that right here. And then I'm using Blushing Bride, and I went ahead and ran that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with the Subtles 3D embossing folder. So I can go ahead and let's go ahead and glue this down while we're here. And you'll have to tell me, do you like different tips and techniques? I know that sometimes simple is more, and sometimes it's great just to have a regular fold card, but have texture and dimension to it that makes it just as cute. So we want to go ahead and do our watercoloring first, because we want to make sure it's going to dry. So let me go ahead and get some of my supplies out here. We're going to be using 3 colors because I wanted to make sure that I had a shade of green at the bottom, because you know, they're usually hopping along in the grass or the fields or the desert, you know, the sand, the dirt, whatever in Australia. It's so funny, I have to tell you guys. So we're using Pear Pizzazz, and I'm going to leave them open like this because we're going to be using the watercolor. And then the next color that we used was Blushing Bride. Okay, and then the Calypso Coral. Again, the reason I chose these particular colors was because these are the gifts that my daughter got for her friend's baby shower and the bag. And I wanted to take a picture of the bag, but we didn't have time to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in, let's go ahead and bring in a scrap of grid paper, because when you're using water and ink, you want to protect your your counter space here. So I'm going to go ahead and let's make sure that I'm in the camera. Okay. And we want to make sure that it's facing vertical. And so I'm using these new watercolor painters that we have. They're a lot of fun. One thing that I will tell you that you need to make sure you do. So it actually comes in 3 different sizes. You've got a fine tip, a regular, and then this is like a paintbrush. Oh my goodness, excuse me. And so you take the cap off and you would think that, okay, well, I need to open it and that we're going to go this way. Well, when you first open it, you've got to make sure you go the opposite direction. Okay, so you see that I'm going left C. And that way, that's how you just take off the cap and you fill it with water. But it took me forever and a day, I felt like, because I could not figure out how to get this silly thing off to fill it with the water. Well, you have to turn it in the reverse way that you would think it would go. Okay, and then it literally looks like a paintbrush. So what we're going to do is, let me actually move some of this out of the way, because I want to make sure that you can fully see what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and maybe do it this way, and we'll put this one going this way so that I can come underneath and you can make sure to be in the screen here. All right, so what we're going to do is when you're working with the water pens, you just squeeze it a little bit. And so I'm going to go ahead and start with the green. And I'm literally just squeezing it a little bit to give it some water. And then I'm just going to go over the stamp pad here a little bit. And then you can add as much or as little as you want. And you're just kind of building a little base here. You can also put this color directly onto a block. I don't mind that this ink is in the middle of my stamp pad. That does not bother me, but it might for you. And in my daughter's card, it was a little bit darker than I wanted it to be. And so I'm going to make sure that I don't have as much on here. Okay. And then I'm literally just going to swipe it like I'm painting it. And then you can apply as much or as little as you want. But because this is where I also put the field of flowers on here, I may want to give it just a little bit more of a back and forth kind of. Okay. And you can again do as much or as little as you want. I actually might do just a little bit more because I want to make sure that I have enough space for my kangaroo. Now see, I went a little bit dark there, so I'm going to add a little bit of water to kind of bring that out and spread it out just a little bit. And then I'll also be able to go over it with more water. And then what I did is I took my Whitey, that's a staple, and I just came in to get rid of that color, and I'm squeezing it as I go to try to get that color out, and then just go like this to make sure that that's done. So I'm going to go ahead and close that stamp pad, and then we're going to go ahead and come in. Let's make sure it's real good. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and come in with the Blushing Bright. So we're going to do the same thing, just add some water to it. And actually, I think I want to do Calypso Coral next. Okay. Or, yeah, I think I want to do the darker one and kind of bring the shading up to the top. So let's go ahead and switch colors here just for a minute. And what's really nice about using your watercolors is you can, let's say you've been getting your paper pumpkins and you want to come in and do different colors, but you don't have these larger stamp pads. This is probably a little bit more orange that I want, but that's fine because it's going to match the cardstock better. But it's a great way to use painter brushes with your ink because as you collect them, you can go in and color with this, and then you can stamp your images and also come in after you've maybe embossed, and you can come in with your water pens. So there's just a lot of great resources to be able to, oh, well, hi, Carol. I see that you gave me a heart. Thank you for joining us today. And so just go ahead and wipe that off while we're here. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and come in with that Blushing Bride. Okay. And add some water here. So I know that a lot of painters or there's several different kind of crafters, whether you scrapbook, you quilt, you paint, can really appreciate, and I'm going to come in from the side and just kind of go down, the different ways to be able to use the different techniques. It's not just about stamping, you know, it's not just about card making. It's about, in my opinion, using a variety of different techniques and stuff. So as you can see, the more water you add, the more it's going to blend a little bit for you. Okay. And so I actually like the look of that because I want some of that white up at the top. And you know what we might do? Maybe well, I'm going to leave that actually. And I was going to say, maybe we'll bring in like a real subtle blue, but I don't know. I don't want to ruin it. So I'm just going to leave it like that because we've got balloons going up and everything. So let's go ahead and move these all out of the way. And then as you can see, it cleans up real good. And I'm just going to squeeze that a little bit, bring it down, and then that's your protective cap on it like so. So let's go ahead and move this to the side. That's going to dry. I don't need that anymore. Let's move our inks and let's go ahead and bring in, let's see. I like using my silicone mat when I'm doing several different things. So how it's going to work is this is going to be our base. And then you can see how pretty that's going to look. And we'll do some additional stamping once this dries. So that's why we go ahead and be proactive and go ahead and work on other stuff first. But when it does dry, I am using a stamp set called Field of Flowers. You've seen me use this one before as well. And I'm just using the grass here. So I'm going to put this over here so that we know that that's what we're going to be doing with that. And I'm going to be bringing back in the Pear Pizzazz to do that. Okay, so then that's done with that. We're done with the watercoloring. And let's go ahead and show you how we went ahead and did the Kangaroo. So again, we're using this Kangaroo set and the die cuts. So what I did is I already pre-stamped and pre-die cut so that we can save some time here. So here's the cute little Kangaroo. And as promised, it has a little slit in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate it. People have been needing baby shower cards. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do exactly what we did there. And the colors we're going to use for coloring are these blender pens here. And if you watched me yesterday, I wanted to make sure that I've been using the same color pack. So what I'm using is the Subtle 6x6 Designer Series paper. It's the 6x6 and it's front and back 4 of each different design. And so I used these projects yesterday, and I'll actually show you at the end that that's this week's Kits to Go. And so I'll show you that at the end, but I'm using the same paper from that video yesterday. You can go back and watch the replay as I'm doing today. So again, I'm wanting to save some time, so I went ahead and already stamped. This one is the Hello Baby, and I just stamped that with the Memento black ink. And then I stamped the Kangaroo like so onto basic white, and there we have that. And then we have our little guy here. Real easy, small. And then, let's see. I think I dropped one. And then what I also used was balloons from this Happy set that I've used before. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll show you how I colored these and how I bordered those. So I'm using Crumb Cake Light and Dark for the shading of the Kangaroo. And then I'm going to use Petal Pink to do some shading, as well as the So Saffron, I guess. I wanted to bring in a little bit more yellow this time. So we'll see how that goes. But let's go ahead and start with the Crumb Cake Dark. And what I did is let's make sure that we're in the screen here. I like to do a border around it to make it look like it's got some edging. So I'm just literally going around and edging the whole way here. Just a second, I need to close my door. We've got some company downstairs, so I wanted to make sure you could hear me. So then we're just gonna go and do the edging, and this is so fast, so easy, and then it's so nice to have those die cuts to come in and cut it for us, because if you don't like fussy cutting, then you will love the die cuts, okay? And then I'm just coming in on the dark lines, and that's how we get a good shading. And then I'm going to come in with the light and just shade the whole thing. And then if you want to come in and make it a little bit darker, you just come back in. So I'm just going to come around here and just a little bit more around there. So that's that one. And let's go ahead and do the baby, since we're here with the dark. And he or she is going to be holding, in this case, it's a she. They're having a little girl. But she's going to be holding one of the balloons. Okay, so that's all we do with that dark. And then I'm going to go ahead and come in with the Crumb Cake Light, and I like the thicker end. And you can definitely tell that I have used this one. So I'm actually waiting for my order to get my new crumb cake. This is a very popular color if you're ever needing colors. Because if you're like a lot of people, you definitely cannot get all of your blender pens at one time. So to me, in my opinion, this is an absolute must-have. I apologize for the squeaks. Like I said, this one is a little bit older and it's been well used, but I just love this color too. And then here is the pouch for little baby to go for this baby shower card. But again, you have a variety of which ones you can use. And then I'm actually going to come in with Flirty Flamingo and do just a little bit of the ear like so, and the tips of their noses. And I'm trying to make sure you can see what I'm doing, so I hope I'm not coloring out of the screen. And then I'm actually going to do the pouch in pink as well. So see, how cute is that? I just think those little guys are so cute. So cute. Okay, so that's the blending that we're doing. Let's go ahead, and I stamped Hello Baby. And then again, in this instance, we are using Calypso Coral. So let me show you a little trick that I did here. Let's go ahead and bring in the dimensionals. I love, love, love my punches, and the lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch you've seen me use a lot. So we're going to do the same thing. If you have not seen it before, I'm going to show you a little trick. Okay, so what you do is you take where you want your image to be, and I ran it through one end. What I punched out, you simply lay over roughly where you want it, come in with your scissors, and cut off roughly the length that you want it to be. Okay, so I'm going to go roughly about there. And then this is going to be too short possibly to go in. Let's see. So see, I don't have a leverage to be able to pull that in and out. So what I like to do is I take a glue dot. Okay, I've got all my little cases here storing all my supplies. So I just take one of these glue dots with my Take a Pick tool, and I just put it on the end here on the back, and just add it to another piece of paper to have that be your handle, because that's going to come off. So let's go ahead and put this in here like so, flip it over, and make sure that that's centered and straight where you want it. And that looks good right there. And then pop it out, just like so, and then take that off, and there we have our tag, okay? And so let's go ahead and move this stuff out of the way here. And we're done with that punch. Again, if you have any questions on any of the supplies that I'm using today, just check my website out at craftslatte.com, and I'd be also happy to answer any questions you may have. I'm just going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on either side of some of these images and sayings. And so this one here does not take a dimensional because he's going to pop in and out. But let's go ahead and flip our kangaroo over and just start placing some of the dimensionals. And I like to use all of my scraps when it's coming to my dimensionals. So this is what it looks like used, okay? And then this is what it looks like new. And they normally would pop out like this. But don't throw anything away until you've used every bit of it. So I just go in and cut those edges off, okay? And so you can put on as many or as little as you want. And I see that I have people here with me. You'll have to let me know where you're from. And I love to engage, and it's so fun to see where all my followers are. I've got some friends actually in Alaska. Well, there too. But in Australia, my dad actually grew up in Australia, so this was a very special stamp set for me. So there we have enough dimensionals there. Let's see if this is dry. That's looking pretty good. So you can see how the color changed a little bit as it's been drying too. You know, it's spring, some fun is coming, so I thought, why not, right? Okay, so while that's still drying just a little bit, we can go ahead and put this one down, okay? And just gonna center that. Let's go ahead and move that over just a little bit. I really like these color choices. Where do you get your inspiration for your color choices? It's funny, since I started with Stampin' Up, it's amazing where I get inspiration for my color. I'm sure you can feel the same way. But like I said, I got the inspiration to do these with my daughter's baby shower gift. So, all right, so what I'm going to do now is bring in some of this white string, and we're going to make some balloons. And so what I did is I took this white twine, and that's going to be my string for the balloon. So this little white twine here came with the Snailed It set, okay? And so the easiest way I found was to go ahead and turn the balloon over that I again cut from this set here. So these are dies that I ran through, and this set is a lot of fun one too that I've used. So what I liked to do is I went ahead, flattened my twine, tried to center it best I could. You could put a glue dot there or whatever, but I'm just going to come in and use a dimensional here because we're lifting it up anyway. So then just go ahead and come in, and that's how you're going to hold it down. And then that's going to be more than long enough. So I'm going to go ahead and come in with my snips right here. And let's go ahead and cut that off and do that to all three. So now I've got my hanging balloon there. And I'm using 2 different prints from this designer series paper. Okay. And again, I'm using scraps. So I'm going to use my other scissors here and just cut off, because I don't need, oh, and I've got one over here too. Again, I'm just going to put it best I can in the center. And let's go ahead and lay that down. And then when we're ready, we're going to pull that off. And just one more here. And I just thought that this would be super cute. It's a celebration, because this doesn't have to be a baby card. It can be a happy birthday or just because, thinking of you. So there's lots of different ways to use this one. And there we have it. And let's just go ahead and cut. And if I happen to cut too much, I can always come back in with a bow or whatever our heart desires. Alrighty, so I'm sure that this is dry enough. Yep, that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and move our balloons and all of our stuff over here, because what we're going to do next is let's go ahead and come in. Again, we're using the Pear Pizzazz, and we're going to go ahead and build a field. So I'm using that Build a Flowers stamp set. Make sure we get plenty of ink on that. Okay. Want to make sure that's good and stamped. All right, let's go ahead, and it's going to be stamped off a little bit because it's wider, which is why you want to make sure you have something covering the bottom there. So let's go ahead and just push down. You don't want to wobble, you just want to push down so that we get overall coverage. And that looks good. Perfect. So let's go ahead and get these out of the way. And now what we're going to do is let's go ahead. I'm going to pull this over here. I'm going to go ahead and let's put our Kangaroo down first. I have to tell you a funny story. I think I started a little bit ago and then I got sidetracked. My daughter Abby and I were coming back from Longmont a couple days ago, and there was an animal, unfortunately, in the middle of the road. Well, she was driving, and I was like, oh my gosh, Abby, look. And she looked and she's like, oh my gosh, was that a kangaroo? She laughed so hard. It was so funny. I actually think I might maybe do something over here and have it holding from the other side. Let's see what that looks like. And I was like, yeah, we don't have kangaroos in Colorado, I'm pretty sure. And so she meant another animal, of course, but I thought that was so funny. I'm going to leave that there for just a second and kind of see where I want to place my balloons. So what I'm trying to see is, what I did is I just kind of tucked the balloon underneath like so and gave it a little bit of leverage. So I actually do like that. And so let's go ahead and take the sticky off of this part and make sure it's under. Let's go ahead and put it up here a little bit further. And then I am going to go ahead and just center this like so. Actually, I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. So how funny is that? So I thought that would be perfect to surprise her with this little kangaroo card today, because she was like, oh, that's a kangaroo. I thought that was so funny. I want that to be a little bit more swirly, so that's good. But see this little baby kangaroo? Again, I promised you that there is a little slit in here, and look at how cute. He tucks right in to mommy's little pouch, and you can put it in as thick or as little as you want. And I actually think I want to pull this down just a little bit to make sure that he can tuck in and out better. Okay. I just love things that are like 3D or, so how cute is that? Okay. And then that way you can still see a little bit of her pink there too. All right. And then let's go ahead and maybe put this yellow one here. And remember, I cut them a little bit longer until we see where we want them to go. So I'm going to go ahead and take the sticker off the back, and let's just randomly put it there. And then the same with the Calypso Coral, and maybe just down here. Actually, let me put this one a little bit higher and then bring this one up just a little bit. So cute. And then what we can do is we're going to go ahead, and again, I made them long for this purpose because I can reuse this. And so then now that I've got my string on there, let's go ahead, because you saw that I didn't push down all the way. I was kind of using it as a temporary placement, because then once you get them where you want, then you can go ahead and stick them down. So there we have it. How cute and adorable is that? I just think that's so cute. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to lay that flat like so. So let's go ahead, turn it over, and I'm just going to come in with my stamp and seal. You can also use liquid glue. I call it the green glue, or the stamp and seal. I find that I sometimes push too hard after I've embossed and it doesn't want to stick down all the way. But let's go ahead and come in like so and center that. I just really like how these colors turned out. Pretty spring colors, and it is the first day of spring today, so that worked out well. Like so. Actually, let's get this over here just a little bit. There we go. Looks good. Then what we're going to do is I went ahead and pre-punched a bunch of these little flowers from the Field of Flowers. So again, we used the Field of Flowers stamp set, and that coordinates with this one. So as you can see, I love having things that coordinate and go together. So this is one of those. I stamped with this, and then these little flowers go with these flowers, and I just punched them out. And then we can just come in with our liquid glue and just put however many or little as you want. So maybe we'll put one here. You don't need a lot, just as I say that, this is going to be probably plenty to go ahead and just start randomly putting them where you want. Okay, and I actually think I want to come in a little bit. There we go, a little bit more. Let's add some yellows, and you can do a couple of different things. Like if you're crafters, you may have these little tools here, and so you could lift up like this and tap it a little bit, and let's go ahead and maybe put one over here. And let's do some Calypso Coral, like so. So as you can see, I'm trying to use that glue that came out a little too fast, and then just put some maybe at the tip here. And let's do some yellows. We still have quite a bit of that glue on there. And again, you can put as many or as little as you want. And I actually think I want to cut out a little bit more of the Calypso Coral. Let's see. I'm just going to use a scrap here and come in and show you what I mean. I'm just going to come in and try to get some of those bigger ones, like so, and go ahead and just place. Actually, that one's got maybe over here. And then let's put this yellow one right here. So do you see how just adding a few little extra things can make such a difference? And I actually think that that's good. What do you guys think? You'll have to let me know. I think that this is actually a really adorable set that we'll be able to use for a lot of different things. And so there we have it. Hello, baby. And then, yeah, love that one. So you'll have to tell me what you think about that little set there. And again, if you like what you've seen today, you can go to craftsalate.com. Make sure you use this host code when you're checking out with me. That's how I'm able to give my prizes and continue to do stuff for my customers and my team. And if you missed yesterday's live, this is my kit to go for this week. I used these really cute sets yesterday, and so let me show you how these work. I left this one empty purposely to show you that they coordinate. So sometimes you want to give an Easter card with a little gift basket. So these coordinate, and this says Welcome Spring, and it's a flip-flop card. Easter is a lovely reminder of new beginnings. And so then here's the basket that you would get. And then this is the third project. The greatest gift of Easter is that he lives. And so again, these are my kit to go. So what happens is if you spend $35 or more in my online store using this host code, then you get to get these kits in the mail for free. Well, what does that mean? Per Stampin' Up's guidelines, I am not able to stamp for you. However, I send you everything else. So everything that's die cut, then the cardstock would be scored to build your box. The flowers would be punched. Again, everything is cut and scored for you. And then you just get them in the mail, and then you put them together. And then what you would do is just spend $35 or more. And so let me know if you can do that. And the sale for this week's kit is going to be on Wednesday. So you have till Wednesday to place that order in order to get these kits in the mail. And so it doesn't have to be product used for those kits. You can substitute for stamps you already may have or whatever. And so you may like this Kangaroo set so much that that's going to also entitle you to the kits this week. So I just want to thank everybody so much again for joining me here at Crafts a Latte. I will be coming on tomorrow, actually even maybe later today, to show you the unveiling of this month's Paper Pumpkin kit. If you do get Paper Pumpkin through me, once a month we do Zoom and we make the projects together. So we'll be doing that tomorrow afternoon. And so if you would like to see that and the unveiling of what's in there, just subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. So, all right, everybody, have a great rest of your day. Thank you and be blessed.